The 16th round of the 2009 FSR season sees the cars and drivers here in Montreal for 70 laps around this 4.3 kilometre circuit. It's a classic circuit, one that the drivers love racing around and one that I'm sure will provide excellent racing for the 70 laps here today. Here is the grid then. Jaakko Mykkänen and David Greco make it a Precision Motorsports 1-2, locking out the front row from Roy Kolbe in third, and Bono Huis in fourth, and the other twisted car of Dennis Hurl in fifth place. There then is the lower end of the grid. Watch for Sean Stroud in 13th. He's going to be looking to make up a few positions off the start. Here come the lights then, ready for this 70 lap race. We've got 3, we've got 4, we've got 5. It's going to be a Precision Motorsports drag race down into turn 1. As the way they go, it looks like it's Mykkänen who has got the lead. Indeed he has, manages to hold it. Kolbe's looking at the inside, but in fact he's under pressure from Huis a bit further back. Huis looking at the inside, but he's not going to make it through as they come out of turn 2 and down into the chicanes at 3 and 4. This is a tricky little complex to get right and very easy to end up in the wall, but they seem to make it through there. It is still Bono Huis in 4th position. This is on board with Sean Stroud now, down in 11th position as he battles with Blair Disley, that is, in front of him. So he exits turn 7 now, heads down to the chicane at turns 8 and 9. He's got past Disley and is now, and Disley's going to look back up the inside though as they come down into the chicane, and Stroud's gone in too late. He's gone straight across the grass there, and so Stroud will have to potentially relinquish that position to Disley as he gained an advantage by, and he's gone sideways into the wall. There was contact there and he's hit Jackson, he's hit his teammate. It's just Sean Stroud hit the wall, seemed to bounce across the grass and collect his Torrent Motorsports teammate John-Eric Saxon. It's a disaster there. Here's the replay. We're on board with Canapino and there is Saxon behind us. You can see Stroud there, out of shape, hurtling across the grass. Saxon's trying to get the cutback to make this overtaking manoeuvre, and Stroud just clatters into the side of him and does, well, the faster than speed car just about escaping with no contact. But that's a disaster for Torrent Motorsports on this opening lap, as we see Saxon going backwards into the Armco barrier, and both of those now are going to be in for a long pit stop. But at the end of the first lap, it's Jaakko Mykkänen who has the lead, and Greco behind him appears to be sitting quite comfortably, and then there's quite a gap back to the battle for third position. And look at this, oh, contact there. Benjamin Burmeister has just been hit from the rear in the Yorkshire Motorsports car. Not quite sure who it was that collected him from the back, and now we're looking at Meglich coming down into turn 1, battling away as they Marconi's in there, I think that is, and Sven Hess as they head up now towards, oh, a little bit of contact, a little bit of squeezing, just about getting away with it as they come into the chicane at 3 and 4 and head out again. So action all throughout the field here, and we're now on board with Bergmeister. Let's see what happened here. And he's just going to be clouted by, I think that was Sean Stroud again, recovering, going back to the pits. Yes, it was. Sean Stroud going back to the pits, just clouts into the back of Burmeister. So that's an absolute disastrous first lap for Sean Stroud. And Bergmeister, well, let's hope he can keep going. We'll have to wait and see. Is Tihikari, the Finnish driver, driving for DHR, and he's spun off the circuit. A slight tap into the barrier. Probably won't do too much damage. He'll light up the rear tyres, do a donut, and get going again. And hopefully he can. And there is Burmeister leaving the pits after being repaired, so he's now a lap down, I think, at least, as he comes out of the pits. So he's got a lot of time to make up, and he gets nicely out of the way of the cars coming through to lap him, and then he will get on his way. Well, points are probably a bit out of the question. Now we're watching Rasmus Tali further down the field, battling with Karim Wisenberg as they head down into the final chicane. Can't take too much of those anti-cuts because they'll spit you off into the wall of champions on the outside, but we're on board with Tali then as we come over the start-finish straight. He's picked up a nice tow from Wisenberg's car as they head down into turn 1, but not quite close enough. There's another car behind them ready to take any advantage if these two make any mistakes as they head out now through turn 2. Now we're watching David Greco coming through the chicane. The middle chicane, they're all running a bit wide and rubbing along the wall and on the grass there, so bit of a moment there for David Greco. He's obviously having to push pretty hard to keep this pace up, but as his teammate flies away up in front. And here's Benjamin Burmeister again. We saw him a lap down. He's now unlapping himself against Marconi there. So, well, he's trying to anyway. He's got the slipstream and he's gone past Marconi, so Burmeister definitely had the speed, and that first lap collision is really costing him as he unlaps himself past Marconi. He's perfectly entitled to do that, really. And he has done it into the final chicane. So Burmeister on a charge. Andrei Yakomenko then coming up the outside as they come down into the hairpin. This is with Dale Carrick, I think. And yep, Chups back for 13th position. They're going to be side by side and coming down the back straight. Tikahari's in there too, in fact. So side by side as they come down into the chicane. Will Yakomenko be able to hold the inside line and take the position? No, not quite. Not quite. Good driving there from both of these guys as they come across the line. 3 of them coming across to start another lap. We've got 64 laps remaining out of this 70-lap race. And here's Bono Huis in 4th position, under pressure now from Dennis Hurl in the Twister racing car as they come into the final chicane. Hurl is really trying hard. And they're both, in fact, trying hard to catch Roy Kolbe, who's running in 3rd place. Here we are, on board with Dennis Hurl. That is the Roaudo racing car of Bono Huis in front of us as we come into the chicane at 3 and 4. Plenty of curb being used, but it looks as though Hurl has dropped back a bit now from Huis. As we saw on the back straight, he was right up behind him, but he seemed a big lock up there from Huis. Let's see if that'll cost him at all. It doesn't look like it. He's still managing to hold it. I wonder if these Twister cars are faster in a straight line, and that exaggerated the closeness. Here's Dale Carrick again under pressure from Andrei Yakomenko as they come through the chicane, and oh, sideways there behind him. That was Tahiki, I think, going sideways, so he's now out of this battle for the moment. But Yakomenko had a little look up the inside of Carrick into there, and oh, into the wall goes Dale Carrick. Too much power too early on, and that is going to be his race over surely as he lies abandoned with no rear wing and no front wing either. Oh, and having to avoid him there, that was a bit close. It was Meglick, sorry, that spun, and well, Carrick is struggling to even get going. Here is it was Tomo Meglick, I apologise for that. The DHR car getting very, very sideways. He does very well to hold it there and leaves a nice trail of rubber on the circuit. And there he is now recovering. Oh, and he's getting sideways again, and he manages to hold it. So Meglick really having a difficult time out there. His 8th position man, Karim Wiesenberg, as he is battling with Florian Becker. And Becker's looking up the inside into the chicane, but he's not quite close enough. And oh, Wiesenberg has outbraked himself there and gone straight across, and is that going to give Becker a chance? Yes, Becker goes through into the final points paying position, but we've only had 9 laps gone in this Grand Prix. Further back, Timon Bollier now is in a battle with Sven Hess on lap 9 as they head down into the hairpin. Bollier looking up the inside and making it through. A good clean manoeuvre. Sven Hess left him plenty of room. Good clean racing further back down the order. So that's Bollier up into 15th position as they come down the back straight once more and heads down, and further in front it looks like there's a bit of a battle going on, and indeed it is Fausto Pappalardo, I think, yep, in the Diamond Racing team, closing down on Giuseppe Marconi. Marconi goes defensive pretty early on, but Pappalardo, I think, has got the momentum, and Marconi's going to try and hang it up the inside, but Pappalardo's gone right around the outside of 1, held the inside for 2, and takes the position. So good movement there. And so there are the 2 precision cars out front. Then it's 3rd, Roy Kolbe. 4th, Bono Huis. 5th is Dennis Hurl. And then further back down the order we go. There's some close battling there between the 2 Torrent Motorsports cars. But here we are on board with race leader Jaakko Miekkinen. And whoa, that was Sean Stroud spinning. Incredible. He's obviously got it wrong there. And has ended up facing backwards. Well, Miekkinen did well to keep his cool and avoid Stroud there. Here's a replay. Stroud down in 19th position. Just got it all wrong and then spun back onto the racing line, donutted in front of the race leader. That is madness driving from Stroud, and he nearly took out 2nd place man David Greco as well. So that's a well, disastrous piece of driving from Stroud, really. And we're back with this battle between Bollier and Marconi for 14th position, heading down into the hairpin. Marconi decides not to go defensive. Bollier has a little tiny look up the inside. He's not going to quite, he might get his nose in there, but let's see. We got past Pappalardo pretty easily earlier in the race with Pappalardo got past Marconi rather earlier in the race, so perhaps Marconi is running higher wings and therefore slower in a straight line. And indeed, Timon Bollier looks like he's got through as they're all very close there, side by side, and Marconi has to cut across the chicane, but Bollier just about made it through.